I need to retest this flex impact driver. The first review had an issue on my end that may have skewed the performance. After over 3 decades of being in this business, I know the importance of accurate testing. Let's give this tool a proper evaluation. I know there was a lot of controversy on the last test that we did with the flex impact driver. So I went back to Lowe's, okay? So I'm buying my flex tools at Lowe's Home Improvement. That's where they're locally available. This is a brand new, I paid for, not sponsored by Flex, still sealed, so it hasn't been opened, hasn't been returned. This one is the same exact impact driver with 2 2-amp-hour batteries and a charger. So for this testing purposes, I actually went and bought a more powerful battery, a 3.5-amp-hour 1200-watt battery and charger, so I could be more comparable to my DeWalt stuff. So I'm trying to be as accurate as I can. So let's open this up and let me see if I can get this one to do what we want it to do without any complications or issues. So here we go. So I waited to open this until we were filming, which was really tough because I love to look at my tools after I purchased them, right? For this test, I wanted to make sure that you guys could see that I hadn't done anything to this drill. All right, so here's the 2 2-amp-hour batteries. Here's the charger. Here's a belt clip and a couple bits. Here's the drill, and here's the manual. So if we need it, we'll go to it. If I can't figure this thing out, we'll go back to the manual. This indeed is the same drill that I had before. I'm gonna go ahead and put in this 3.5-amp-hour battery into this drill. All right, it works. It's on speed number 3. So there's 3 speed modes on this drill, and then there's 2 driver settings. One driver setting is for sheet metal screws and that type of stuff. And then I think the other setting is just really for like general purpose, which is what we need it for. General purpose, just driving of fasteners, right? No? I'm not letting you get away with this. Oh, this is for a drill driver hammer drill. It doesn't look like an impact driver. But let's check the model number again just to be sure. FX1371A. I do not see that model number on this manual. I don't have the right manual from here. So we'll go to the internet and we'll try to download it.
So you use 1, 2, and 3.
You just leave these off?
Yeah, because look, you choose those and it goes between the 2.
Right.
And you choose 1, 2, and 3. That's what you want. 3.
These 2 settings over here are for different types of sheet metal. One's for thinner sheet metal and one's for thicker metal. This one is the lighter sheet metal setting, and this one's a thicker sheet metal setting. And we don't want those when we're driving the fasteners. We want this side over here. So I think part of my problem was I was under the impression I had to have a selector on this and then also a selector on this. But for woodworking, we just got to worry about this side here, 1, 2, and 3, and not this side over here. So I bet you this thing will drive a fastener. As long as we don't have these settings set, this side, we should be able to drive a screw without it having any issues. Also, we are having a slight issue with the quick chuck. Oh, this one works a lot better. Because before we were really having to pull on it to get it out. Then there's a button right here that's supposed to release the bit, and it does not. We weren't even in neutral. So this quick chuck works if it's in forward or reverse or in lockout mode. Lockout mode is like if you're taking your drill and you throw it in a box and you're going somewhere and it's driving around and moving inside of there, it's so that locks out the trigger so that it can't work. So if you have this set in the middle, you can't pull the trigger and then the drill won't just automatically start turning. I've had that issue before. We've worn out batteries because it's Friday, we're done with the job, we throw all our tools in a box and we head out. All of a sudden, I get to the job site of the next job or home or whatever, and I can hear something going in the trailer. Well, usually it's a drill that shifted and it's just spinning and spinning and spinning until it wears out the battery, which can actually kill a battery. I've had that happen before. So if you lock out your drill, which is the middle between forward and reverse, it locks the trigger and then you can't turn it. That works in forward and reverse, so that's actually not a bad thing. You don't have to pull, which it still works if you pull on the collar. You can still get this in and out, but because it's a stubby collar, it's so small. If you have gloves on, it could be a little cumbersome. So this little button right here will allow you to push on it and then you just pull it out. On the old drill, again, it was brand new as well. It came in a combo kit. We put it in the lockout mode, so I couldn't pull the trigger. And then I pushed on this button here. We were having a hard time getting the bit out, but this one, man, it's easy. There's no having to reef on it or anything. That's how it's supposed to work. That's a speed feature. If you're switching a lot of bits, like if you only have one drill or maybe two and you have 4 different bits that you're using, which is very common for what we do, that's a cool feature to have. All right, guys, so we're on speed 3. I don't have this side activated. I probably won't use that feature very much because I'm not a sheet metal guy. I'm a wood guy. I need to connect pieces of wood together all the time. Sometimes we use aluminum, but I'll be honest, I've used these settings on different brands of drills before on my aluminum framing, and it doesn't really work. It's not light gauge, it's all heavy gauge, ram and jam kind of stuff. So those settings are great for delicate work, but maybe not so much for what I do, but like roofing and guys that do pole barns and things like that, I'm sure it's a really great feature and people use it all the time. With that being said, we have a 4x4, and this one we used last time, and it's got a bunch of lines cut in it. So I'm just gonna use a smaller piece of 4x4 to connect to this 4x4 here. And I have a lot of faith right now. I'm feeling pretty solid. I think I completely beefed that last test because of that one setting. I didn't understand the drill. I did read the directions. It still didn't make sense, but Studio Man pointed a few things out, and I do believe that we have the right setting now. I think this is going to drill this screw just fine. And there you go. Oops. I bet you I can get this to repeat the problem I had last time. All I got to do is turn this on, and it's going to stop. This will not drive this bit. Okay, so that wasn't quite this issue I had last time, but let's try this setting. That's what happened last time. I had the wrong setting on the drill, which I guess was a little bit confusing to me maybe. So if I turn this off, all I gotta do is hit this button over here. Now I'm on speed 3. Now it's gonna drive this baby home. It's got a lot of power. Even for a smaller battery. That felt really good. It feels like I could have an 8 amp hour battery in here and it would feel the same. Let's test it against the DeWalt and see who's faster. All right, guys, so I have this brand new flex drill that we figured out. We know what setting it's on. And then I've got this DeWalt that's supposed to be a pretty powerful drill. I have a 5 amp hour battery, a power stack, which is a similar technology to what's inside this battery, even though it has like 1.5 amp hours more than this drill here. I do have an older 4 amp hour lithium battery. So if there's a big discrepancy in the speed of these two, then I'll toss this battery on. But this battery is back from 2018. It probably wouldn't be a fair comparison because it's 7 years old. So to be fair, this battery, it was made in 2022. All right, it's probably got quite a few charge cycles. We put it into action on 11/1 of 2024. So when I bought this battery, it was pretty old. So I was a little bummed about that, but hopefully it doesn't go bad. Okay, so I had to go find a longer piece of material to screw into because these little ones, we cracked it in half. So now we have a bigger 4x4 that we're screwing down into a 4x6. These are Fasten Master Versalocks. We have them set at the exact same depth. Okay, both drills are in forward, and I got a little bit better space in between them. So let's try it now. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. So the flex beat the DeWalt. Okay, to be fair, I'm gonna go ahead and reset these fasteners, and then we'll switch hands and we'll see what happens. Okay, so let's try again. So remember, I got a 5 amp hour battery on this drill and a 3.5 amp hour battery on this drill, and this drill did drive it a little bit faster. Okay, 5 1/4, 5 1/4. Let's see what happens now. Lots of edits for this one. Sorry, Studio Man. Okay, I'm nested on 3. 1, 2, 3. That was a lot faster. Okay, I'm gonna drive this all the way in. I know that nobody really cares about how fast you can reverse something out of a piece of wood, but I'm just curious to see if this, sometimes a drill will surprise you at how quickly it can pull a screw versus driving it. So let's just see what happens when we hit them in reverse. On 3, 1, 2. So I'd still have to give it to the flex by half a second maybe, but it definitely drove the fastener faster than this DeWalt drill did. And this is model number DCF845. Okay, I apologize, you guys. If I offended you when I tossed that drill in the last video, please forgive me. I have to redeem this drill. It's definitely got the power. I can tell just by running it. The only thing I have to say is don't use these settings if you're trying to drive wood, fasteners into wood. Only use your speed settings. If the drill cuts out in the middle of what you're doing, you probably have these on. Studio Man proved that in a little clip on one of our other videos on a flex tool that we were reviewing, the saw. Forgive me, please. I admit I was at fault, operator error. So I'm clear on the directives of this drill. It has a great feel. Weight-wise, it's moderate, I'd say, in weight. I can't really tell the difference between these two drills right now. They're pretty similar in nature. It seems well put together and it looks like it's ready to take some abuse. Okay, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it. So put a comment below and let me know, should I keep this drill and put it into our rotation, add this extra charger, find a spot for all this stuff, and let's use it for 6 months and see what we end up with? Or should I just take it back because it's only one tool and I don't know if I would use it? I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I hope that I have redeemed myself from the previous video and I retract what I say about do not buy this drill. Actually, I got this on sale and it wasn't a bad price. I'm not crazy about the 2 amp hour batteries, but this 3.5, man, that's a nice compromise. You hit the button and it tells you how much power you got, okay? So it's got 4 full bars ready to rock. You know, first impressions are one thing, but you know, maybe we'll put it into action for a few months and see what we got, and we'll come back to you in the spring and say, hey, have you been using this drill for 6 months and is it on my hip or is it sitting on the shelf? Okay, I want to talk about something really quick. It's our podcast. If you're not checking it out and you want to hear some of the industry's top deck builders, you want to hear about it, go to our podcast. I have lined up a lot of guests. We've had 33 episodes. Some of the greatest people that are in the business are on this podcast and it's growing. So I'm heading to a place called Deck Expo next week and I'm going to see a lot of pros. Leave a comment below if there's somebody that you want me to interview on our channel. If they're around, I'll go ask them and say, hey, will you please be on our podcast? We have subscribers that are interested in hearing from you. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching this video. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Have a great day.